And we are live. What's up, beasties? It's me. It's Triple B, your friendly neighborhood bearded book beast. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to another episode of Beast Friends Forever. Woo! We got an awesome show today. I'm so excited to have my guest on this morning, and I'm so excited for her book. You saw in the thumbnail, and you're going to see it again. Just a gorgeous cover, one of the most striking and beautiful covers I've ever seen. But also the story sounds so incredible, so creative. And this author just has an awesome story for their book. And I'm really excited to get to talk to them and for you, beasties, to get to know them so that you will want to check out this book as well. So without further ado, let me bring on my guest today, the fantastic Cheyenne Brammah. What's up? How's it going?
Oh, it's going.
There we go. Welcome to the show. Thank you for being here. Thank you. I'm so excited to get to talk to you and have you here today. So it's exciting time. The book comes out tomorrow. So how are you feeling?
Oh, so stoked. Just
I bet.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. I mean, you've been thinking about this, planning for this, writing the story, getting everything ready, and now it's here. It's like Christmas Eve for you, I'm sure.
Pretty much. Pretty much, yeah.
It's pretty exciting stuff. We've got a couple people that are leaving some comments in the chat. We got a few people with us. Thank you, everyone that is live here with us. We got author Ellen Holmes. Thanks for being here, Ellen. You are fantastic. You were first. Lucky Luigi is here.
Hey, Luigi,
thanks
hi.
For being here. He answered their own question, 10 a.m., and then said, "What is that in Celsius?" I love it. And then Tim McKay is here. What's up, Tim? A Bearded Book Beast channel member. Make sure to check out in the description if you're interested in joining the channel. Thanks for being here, Tim. I am Iron Wolf is here.
That's cool. My husband.
Is it? Well, I'm impressed with his name. That's pretty cool. Well, of course, he's got to be in here. This is exciting stuff. Oh, man. All right, you're going to have to tell me how they say, is it?
Meshia Junru.
Oh, man. That is a cool name. I'm not going to try to say it because I'm going to mess it up.
Just Meshia. Meshia is good.
Yeah, Meshia. All right, I can do that. All right, you got a lot of friends and supporters in here. This is awesome. PJ Nelson is here. She noticed me. Yvonne Upton is here. Rutabaga. We got a lot of people in here. This is fantastic. Everybody's excited for everything that you have coming up. So cool. All right. So first off, so that everyone knows, whether you're here live, we appreciate you. Whether you're here on the replay, we appreciate you as well. But in the description, you'll find links to Cheyenne's website, to the books, and everything that you need to be a part of this awesome day that's coming up tomorrow. One thing, so I don't forget to mention it, I'll let Cheyenne talk about it here in a second, but tomorrow she's going to be doing a live stream on her Twitch channel. It's not in there yet because we just talked about it and I found out. So I'm going to add that in there so that everyone can go there to support her for her release day live stream. It's going to be pretty exciting. So Cheyenne, why don't you start off, tell people a little bit about that, like what time you're going to do it and all that.
So I'm going to go live at 10 a.m. Mountain Time for a couple of hours, and I plan to do some reading from the book and be available to answer any questions people have. And depending on how things go, I might actually work on the third book. And I'm also going to draw the winners of the giveaway that I've been running.
Very nice. Ooh, that's exciting. That's right, the giveaway. So there you go. All right, cool stuff. I'll make sure to link that down below, everybody. So if you want to check out her website, the books, and find out when the live stream is, it'll be in there. The Twitch link will be in there as soon as we're done with our interview. But if you're watching on replay, it'll already be there. So thank you, everybody, for being here to help celebrate Cheyenne in this awesome moment for her the day before her book debut. So to start us off, why don't you just give us the blurb from your mouth yourself, the author's mouth. Tell us what First Sin is about.
So it's about 3 dragonoid aliens who get into a bunch of trouble over a prophecy that has been around for a very, very long time, and it involves another set of aliens that also get involved in this prophecy, and they have a lot of questionable adventures, we'll say.
You had me at Dragonoid Aliens. I mean, come on now. That is so cool. All right, before we talk about the book, just so that people can picture and see how awesome this book is going to be, if they have not seen the cover yet, why don't you hold up the cover and show them this beautiful cover? Look at this, and look at the Dragonoid alien right there. I mean, just this cover is so freaking gorgeous. I cannot wait to get mine. But also, the book just sounds awesome. So, yes, feast your eyes, you guys. It looks awesome. Let's talk about the cover real quick. So who was your cover artist and how did it go working with them? I already know, but I'll let you tell.
So I worked with Jeff Brown at jeffbrowngraphics.com, and he was amazing, actually. I had an idea in my head about what I wanted, and I knew I needed a very specific kind of a look because it's science fantasy. It's not just science fiction. So I needed somebody who was going to be able to capture both of those elements and also capture them as the series evolves, because it doesn't necessarily say strictly one or the other.
Right.
So I found Jeff, and I knew immediately that he would be the one. And working with him was effortless, really. Like we got on a call together. I told him what my vision was. He did a sketch right there live with me on the call and had a few suggestions, and then basically just took it from there, and that was the end result.
Man, that's awesome. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, he's one of the hottest names in cover design right now. So already that's an awesome get because he does such great covers. Once again, he made that clear. But I also have heard that from anyone that's worked with him, that he's just awesome to work with, and that he really wants to make your vision come to life the way that you wanted it to. So
Yeah.
tell us, how did you feel when that image came back to you and you saw it for the first time?
It was kind of a gradual thing because, of course, he gave me updates along the way.
Little
So,
pieces, yeah.
yeah, so it wasn't like, here's his thumbnail sketch and then
Yeah.
boom, here's the end
And then
result,
here's the
right?
final result. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so I got to see it as it evolved, and
That's cool.
there were a few changes along the way, but it
Yeah.
was very much one of those, it's so perfect I don't really have any changes, like,
Yeah. That's awesome. You can't beat that. That is
yeah.
fantastic. Very cool. Now, on your website, if anyone wants to know more about your plans and the series, it's all on there. So you have quite a few books planned. Do you think you'll use Jeff Brown for more of the covers?
Absolutely.
Oh,
We
good.
actually
Yeah.
have a meeting in December for the second book.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Very cool. Oh, that's awesome. I can't wait to see what that one looks like. This one's already incredible. I love the typography too. How did you get the typography? How did that process go?
Do I even remember? Um, it was a font. I don't remember how I found the font, but I remember
Okay.
spending a lot of time just looking for something unique, because I didn't I obviously I wanted something that was like kind of science fictiony but also had to
Yeah.
be science fantasy, right? And this particular font, it's called Anthu,
Okay.
and it has kind of a rune like quality to it with the
Yeah.
the way
Uh-huh.
that the letters look. And it's maybe not so apparent with the first sin, but with some of the other titles it will definitely
Okay.
be. But I just really loved how it looked. And,
Yes.
when Jeff and I were talking about the topography, I said, I have a suggestion for the font. And he admitted to me, he's like, I've had authors in the past who have wanted to use a certain font, and it's been kind of like,
Like, ooh, I don't know about
I
that.
don't know about that. But so I said, well, like, just give me your honest opinion. And,
Yeah.
so I showed it to him, and he thought it was awesome. So we went
Nice.
with it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, it fits so good, and it's very striking. It goes so well with the cover. So that's awesome that you found that font yourself. That's really cool. because a lot
Yeah.
of times people have to have like the cover artist, then they got to have someone do the typography. But you nailed it, so nicely done, nicely
Thank
done.
you.
Very cool. All right, well, people love the cover. Everyone is saying, Luigi says, "Ooh." Ellen says it's sick. Husband, of course, I'm sure he approved. He said it's amazing. Tim says, "Love me a Jeff Brown cover." We all agree with that. And
Yep.
Luigi also agrees that the font choice was very good. I agree. All right. Your husband says use Comic Sans. Oh man. All right. So yeah, good old Comic Sans.
Yeah.
So
No, that's
all right.
actually what the
So
interior of the book is written in. It's in Comic Sans. No, I'm kidding.
and yes, Ivan, that is true. I should point out you made a very good pun there. The font does have a particular character to it. Yes, yes. Well done. Well done. All
Ivan's
right.
really good at puns.
Yeah, yeah. That was pretty good. I like that. All right. So let's talk about the book a little bit. Such an inventive idea, and I know that this is something you thought of for a long time. But how did you come up with the idea for first to do, sci fantasy and not just sci-fi or not just fantasy, and then to have this mix of alien and dragon? Like it's so awesome. Just walk us through kind of this idea and how it came up, like how you came up with it.
That's a good question because I'm not really sure.
It just popped in your head.
It's been something that's been with me since 1991.
Wow.
Yeah, and not obviously in the form that we see it
Yeah.
now, but um, it's been around for a long time and it evolved. Um, when I was a little girl, I really liked watching Gargoyles, the
Oh
TV
yeah.
series, the
Yeah.
cartoon.
Me too.
Yeah, so that's probably where a good portion of the Dragonoid alien concept comes from. And of course, just like a lot of people, I really like dragons. So, that just seemed to be a natural thing, but they just always seem to need the ability to fly, these
Hmm.
particular characters. So it was, yeah, it just came to be in
Came
my
from there.
head. Yeah, yeah,
That's
it just
good.
came to be.
Okay. Who was your favorite gargoyle?
Demona.
Nice. Good choice. Good choice. All right. Now, how many books do you think it'll take you to tell just this first story?
The saga will be six.
Nice.
And
Very
then there
cool.
will be one companion novel because there's a part of the story that doesn't really fit neatly in.
Okay.
So yeah, I'm just gonna write it as like a 4.5 kind of deal.
Oh yeah.
That'll
Oh yeah.
come
We all
after.
love that. Very cool. Okay. Nice. And then, I mean, it's going to be a while before you have to worry about anything else. But um, this awesome world and lore and everything you're creating in this story, when it's done, do you think you'll stay in this sandbox you created and tell different stories with different characters around, or do you have something completely different you want to do after?
No, I actually have the inklings of another story I call the universe the Acrodaxis. And there is another story slowly forming in my head that will take place in the same universe, in the Acrodaxis. And
Nice.
yeah, I feel like there are potential for quite a few stories. So I guess I'm kind of aspiring to be like a Brandon Sanderson, with his
Nice.
whole
That's good.
thing. Yeah,
Cosmere, yeah.
the
Very
Cosmere.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, with I feel like sci fantasy, there's so much from both genres that you can play with that you could do a lot of cool things because with the sci-fi part, there's travel, to go to other worlds and things. You're not just stuck on one place like sometimes you are in fantasy. So I think that that's really cool. And I can't wait to see what you do at this first book and series and then beyond. That's exciting. I love that. Um, and I agree. with Misha, better make room on all of our shelves because we're going to want all of these beautiful books that you're going to be coming out with. And shout out Abel Montero, great author and YouTuber, is also here. What's up, Abel? Thanks for being here. Um, okay, so oh, and Keys, what's up, Keys? Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you being here. All right, so um, for the book, I haven't read it yet, obviously, because it's not out yet. But just in case anybody's wondering, is this a first person, third person, multi POV? What is that structure for the book?
It is third person, past tense, and there are two point of views in
Cool.
the first book, but the bulk of the story is told from Tarek's perspective. He's one of the Dragonoid aliens. They're called Ardraken.
Ah, so cool.
And the second point of view, her name is Sorobi. She's a Scarastaja, and she doesn't show up until halfway through the novel. So it was kind of admittedly a risk to have, the first half of the book is all one perspective basically, and then introduce a new character at the halfway point. But I'm told that it's okay.
That's interesting. Okay. Yeah, that's kind of cool. I don't know if I've read a book. I mean, I'm sure I have, but I'm kind of interested now to see how that flow goes. That's pretty cool. That's awesome. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. And was that something you planned ahead of time with that structure, with having that other POV come along, like not just from the start, or was it something that as you started to write it, you, all right, I need to get this other character in here now?
I think, like, I'm a meticulous planner, but Sorobi, there were a couple surprises in this book. There were, there was a character who showed up partway through who was just like, surprise, here I am. And I was like, what do I do with this person now?
Yeah.
But having Sorobi show up about halfway through, I think I knew that because she wouldn't have been able to be in the book earlier. It just wouldn't have worked.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So, yeah, I think I did. I don't know that I necessarily planned for it. It just sort of felt appropriate for the way that the novel flows. Yeah.
Nice. Very cool. All right. Well, so in a minute here, we're going to switch gears. I want to talk about kind of your journey to releasing this book and becoming an author. But before we do that, I have a question for you, Cheyenne. And your husband might have answer yes to this. You may answer no. But do you like dad jokes? Well, then this is going to be very entertaining then, because I've got a couple for you.
Okay, yeah,
right.
Go ahead.
All right. Here goes the first one. So, what did Tennessee? The same thing as Arkansas.
Aww.
All right, one more. Okay, what sounds like a sneeze and is made of leather? What sounds like a sneeze and is made of leather?
A shoe.
A shoe. You got it. See, I had a feeling already just from the comment section that your husband would love dad jokes.
I have to live with that every day.
I bet. All right. So walk us through. I always like to hear kind of two sides to it. One, when you were young, take us back to when you were just a little Cheyenne. What got you into fantasy, sci-fi, and when did you start writing? And then at what point kind of did you decide, I'm going to go for it and write this book and make it happen? And just walk us through that journey.
So when I was little, my parents used to read to me, and it was like Tom Sawyer, and it was The Last Unicorn, and stories like that. So they got me into that kind of stuff fairly early on, and I was also exposed to Star Trek, the original series, and then TNG quite early on in my life as well. So that really had me fascinated as a kid. And I just always seemed to have stories in me. I was always scribbling something down. When I was little, it was these silly stories that never really went anywhere. But when I got into high school, I started writing fan fiction quite seriously and got into that for actually quite a long time. Not just in high school, but afterwards, after I was out. But of course, fan fiction is fan fiction. You can't make any money off of that. And when I got out of fan fiction, I actually tried to write it was then called Heart of the Empire. And I was having trouble with it. And I eventually discovered that it just wasn't the right time in my life to write that story. So I had to shelve it for a while, and it actually got shelved for 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And then in the meantime, I actually got sick. I was sick for quite a long time. And then once I came out of that, it just suddenly was the right time. And it was like, I'm getting older. I was in my 40s already by that point, and it just, it needed to be done, you know?
Yep. Yep.
Yep. So I got going on it. Actually, it was 2018 when we started brainstorming the first sin.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, and so it's been 7 years almost since I started this book.
Oh, labor of love for sure.
And the
That's
series
exciting.
actually originally started with what is now going to be book 4. And when I got into that story, I realized that I had never really figured out why the Scaristaja hate the Ardraken so much. So we had to do some pretty serious brainstorming.
Okay.
And that's where the first sin came from. And the first sin was supposed to be this short prequel. Well, it's
So much for that idea.
like the hardcover weighs 2 pounds.
Oh gosh. That's but in this genre we all love a good chonker, so
It's a
that's okay.
chonker.
It looks good with that cover, all that page count. You want it to be spread out more, so that's good. So that's interesting that it was supposed to be, just kind of a shorter prequel thing, and it became this chunky boy. So that's pretty exciting. That
Yeah,
so that must have taken a lot of work to flesh all that out.
it did. We gosh, I don't remember what the date was off the top of my head, but the brainstorming and the planning went on for quite a while, at least a year, maybe even
Mhm.
2. I don't really remember, but I've got the dates written down in my wiki. I have a wiki.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I've got a wiki
That's kind
for
of cool that you got a wiki for it. Awesome.
yeah. So I've been keeping track of the important dates, that kind
Yeah.
of thing. But yeah, so the first sin was very meticulously planned, and then just dove right in and got going on it, and now it's ready.
Nice. Well, I think that is fantastic, because that just shows your determination, something a dream that you had, and a story that you just wouldn't let die. And now here we are, the day before it's about to release to the world. And I just think that you should be very proud, and it's inspiring to people like me and everybody else who's chasing that same dream of writing a book. I just have to say another round of applause. In the chat are proud of you. Congrats, it's fantastic. So, while we were talking broken English, produced all the way from Croatia, probably here. Thanks for being here. That's appreciated. All right, so that is really cool. So it's coming out tomorrow. I know that there's ebook, paperback, and hardcover. And then, are you thinking of eventually doing audiobook? I have a lot of audio readers that always show up doing audio stuff.
I would like to do an audiobook. I don't know how feasible that will be, of course, because it does cost quite a lot of money
Mm-hmm.
to produce an audiobook, but it is something that I would like to explore for sure. And yeah, if I can make it work, I know there are people who definitely would like to have one. So I know it's a big market as well. So it would be awesome if I could.
Oh, heck yeah. Uh, that would be cool. It sounds like to some people in the chat, my audio might be getting a little garbly, so hopefully that'll fix itself. But I'm glad that yours is coming through nice and clear, so that is good. Um, so yeah, I know audiobooks are tough because they can be very expensive, like everyone knows. So that's good that you're thinking about it. But right now, you've got basically everything somebody could want physically coming out, and that's all that matters right now. So that's exciting stuff. Very cool. Oh, good. Sounds like I sound better. Thanks for letting me know, guys. I appreciate that. All right. So next up, I do have some writing process questions for you. I like to pick the brains of authors and kind of see how you do certain things because every author does things differently. But before we do that, every day on my channel and on social media, I do a question of the day. So for today's question, I asked what kind of, because it's spooky season, October, close to Halloween, I asked what kind of horror book covers are you more drawn to? So I kind of said, think of something like more of like the classic throwback ones where it's got like that VHS tape cover feel to it. Like those kinds of covers. You have the covers that are a little more grotesque. They depict like some kind of gory scene on the front. Um, you've got ones that kind of are atmospheric, where it doesn't really show like a picture that's necessarily horror, but it just gives like this atmospheric, spooky vibe. But it's really just a regular picture of something. Somebody in the water, somebody in a forest that's kind of dark. That kind of stuff. Or just the covers that have like an object on them. Maybe a hook or the smile from It. Something like that. I don't know if you read horror or not, but in general, if you see horror book covers around, which kind do you feel more drawn to out of those?
I don't really read horror, but I actually know an author, Shelley Campbell, who lives here in
Okay. Oh
town
yeah.
with me. We live in the same town. She does a little bit of horror, and her covers are really good. They
Oh
are
nice.
more of the atmospheric
Yeah,
kind of
I think
creepy
that's my
vibe.
favorite. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and like if I was going to read horror, I would read books like that for sure.
Yep, yep, yep. I agree. I like that too. Very good. All right. So my first question, you touched on it a little bit earlier, but on for authors, there's the spectrum of pantser all the way on one side where you just sit down and you write, you go, and then the other side plotter where everything is meticulously planned out. You have a book that's outlines for your book. Where do you fall in there? Do you feel like you're in the middle? Do you lean towards plotter a little more? Where do you feel like you fall for that?
I am definitely a plotter.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, meticulously a plotter. Although I will pants a little bit, but
Hmm.
only in like those in between points. Like I'll be like, okay, I know I have to go from A to B to
Yeah.
C,
Yep. Yep.
and maybe I know how to get from A to B, but from B to C, it's a little bit more nebulous, so I might pants
Right.
that a little bit. But
Yeah. Yeah.
I like to use tools like Campfire and Mural
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
map out the plot after. I also have a detailed outline. Like I'll write pages and pages and pages of notes. And once I've got my outline down and it's time to write the chapter, I actually have a physical notebook that I will then make like bullet point notes in. And I'll use that as my guide when I'm going through the actual writing process to keep me on track. So,
That's a good way to do it.
yeah.
You are meticulous, but I think that's good because it's like you're the best of both worlds. Like you've got things planned out so that you don't get stuck, really, but then you also allow the characters or things if you feel like something needs to change, you'll deviate from your outline because some authors they outline it and it's like I'm just transferring it from the outline to the page. Nothing is going
Yeah.
to change. And sometimes as a reader, you read that and you can almost feel it. Like it feels like I don't think the character would have done that. Where
Hmm.
you allow things to shift if you feel like it's what's better for the characters of the story. So I think that's a perfect combination the way that you do it.
Yeah. I think it works well. I think there should always be a little bit of an element of surprise when people are writing. You know, like your creativity is sometimes very spontaneous, you know, and I think that makes for a better product in a lot of cases when you allow yourself to be in that moment and just like,
Yeah.
oh, yeah.
Yep, yep, I agree. So have you found moving into book two, do you feel like your process will stay the same, or do you feel like you've picked up some things that you're going to change how you do things a little bit with book two?
Book two is actually finished.
Oh my goodness, you're a beast. That's awesome. All right, well then, when you wrote book two, was it the same thing as one, or did you change things up at all from writing book
Um,
one?
no, book two, I think, was a little bit more planning based.
Okay.
With book one, even though we did all of that brainstorming, like I think I mentioned that, you know, there was a character that just showed up in book one that I hadn't planned for, and then I
Yeah.
had to figure out, you know, what to do with him. Whereas with book two, I really stuck to like I knew what I had to write, and in time at times it was a little bit more difficult because
Hmm.
it book two didn't exist. And what I mean by that is I went from book one into what is now book three and started
Oh,
writing that one, and then had my alpha readers have a look at it, and they were like, well, there's this little tiny bit at the beginning that it references stuff happening off page,
oh, wow.
and we want to know what that, you know, like we need to see that. So
Yeah,
from that little bit that happened off page became a new book
book
two.
two. Wow.
So I had to take this little bit and make it into a whole novel.
Man.
And yeah, it was a bit of a different process in that sense
Yeah.
because I was filling a gap,
Hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
it didn't allow for as much spontaneity as I had in book one, just
Oh, yeah.
because yeah, I knew I had to get from book two to book three, and
Right.
yeah,
Man,
so that
that's you've had some interesting experiences with your book one and two, like of it having to expand on things. Like that's pretty awesome, though. I love that you listen to your ARC readers like that, and then you're like, okay, this is what readers want. Like I'm gonna make it, figure it out. I'm gonna make it happen. Like that's awesome. I think. Um, so how long did it take you from the time you figured out you needed to write a book to getting done with your draft and stuff?
book two, I think I got it done in a year and a half,
Okay. Wow,
which was
that's
amazing.
nice. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
considering how
quick.
long book one took. But book two
Yeah.
is also less than half the length of book one.
Okay. Hey, but
So
that's still, it's still pretty quick, because even half the length would have been, 3.5 years instead of 7. So that's still really quick. That's awesome. Like writing a book, especially when it's one that you didn't have like that same long thought of the story. Like it was like this idea that you had to make into a story. So I'd say that's pretty impressive, especially if you're a meticulous plotter. Like you had to do all that plotting and stuff too. So that's pretty impressive. Congrats on that. So
thank you.
you're done with book two, and it's going through the process of it needs to go through now to get ready.
Yeah,
So then, are you working on book three? Or are you focused on? Okay, so you're already diving into book three. That's exciting. We like
yeah.
to hear
I'm
that.
I'm about, oh, I don't know, how many words am I into book three here? It's like 12 chapters in
Oh
already to book
wow, so
three, so
you're a
it's
good chunk
yeah,
in.
33,000 words so far.
Nice. That's awesome. You're rolling. You are trying to be like Brandon Sanderson with this prolific writing. That's pretty awesome. Um, this just popped into my head. I'm curious how you do chapters. Are you somebody that does tries to think through like doing short chapters, or are you just the chapter is going to be as long as it takes to tell this what the chapter needs to tell? Like, do you mix it up and it's just based on what it needs in that moment versus long or short?
I'm a big proponent of it should be as long as it needs to be to
Hmm.
tell
Me
it
too.
properly. So I do I do try to aim for about 2,500 words per chapter on average, but
Hmm.
some of my chapters are as long as 4,500 words kind of
Hmm.
idea.
Yeah.
And I think the shortest chapter I've written so far was about 1,100.
Okay. So
Yeah, so
there's a good mix then. I think that's the way to do it. I think if you try to like one way or the other, like they should all be about the same or they should be short, then you're messing with like the flow of the story too much, right? And you're not just thinking of what needs to happen, you're thinking of how to make what needs to happen in these certain amount
yeah,
of
yeah,
words. So
making it,
that's
trying to make
good.
it fit.
Yeah. So that's cool.
Yeah.
I that's actually my favorite is when people mix it up like that and it makes the story flow so nice, I think. All right, very cool. Next question. So now you wrote book 1 and you had this long journey with it, but then book 2 was a little quicker. So when you are writing, um, do are you somebody that sets goals? Like, do you set weekly, daily, monthly word goals where I got to hit these word counts, or do you just try to write every day and you know it'll get done, or do you just write whenever it works and you don't put the pressure on yourself?
I don't put pressure on myself. I
Good, good.
Yeah, I try to do the whole write every day and write a certain amount of numbers, a certain amount of words every day.
Hmm.
And I just felt like I was burning out too much and
Yeah,
the creativity was becoming stunted. So, yeah, it doesn't work for me. So I write. I want to say when the muse strikes, but that's not always true either. I do sit down and I try to get stuff done in some
yeah,
kind of a capacity, but yeah, I don't really aim for a word count, or it's just enough to get something done. You
that's
know?
good. Just
Yeah,
move forward, progress, right?
yeah, yeah.
That's good. I feel like that is a good way to do it too, because writing should be fun. You should still enjoy it because you started this because you love writing. So I feel like putting too much pressure on yourself makes it not fun, and that's never a good thing. Um, so okay, very cool. What about when you are writing? Are you a creature of habit? Like, do you like to write always in the morning or always at night, or do you like to write in a certain spot? Do you have some things like that, or are you just kind of like write whenever, wherever? It doesn't matter.
A little bit of yes and a little bit of no.
Okay.
So I have my computer that I'm sitting at now. Sometimes I write here.
Hmm.
Sometimes I write on the sofa using my iPad.
Nice.
Occasionally we go out to, a coffee shop or somewhere. There used to be a really nice coffee shop just up the street from us that we would go, my husband and
Oh,
I
nice.
would
Yeah.
go and write at, but unfortunately COVID killed it.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
That
so
threw a
we've
wrench in a
been
lot of things.
yeah, so we've been on the hunt for a good writing location out of the house since then. But so yeah, sometimes it's out of the house, at like a Tim Hortons or
Oh, yeah.
even a bookstore. Sometimes if they've
Oh,
got a
yeah.
little,
That's true. Sometimes they have nice little spots you can write. That's
yeah,
a great spot. Yeah. To be
yeah,
surrounded by books. Just go grab one if you need a little inspiration or something, right? That's cool. So your husband writes too?
he does.
That's
Yeah,
cool.
he's a really good world builder. Actually, he's a very
Nice.
important part of my writing process. Actually,
That is awesome.
yeah, he helps me brainstorm quite a lot, and he also reads. Like he's the first person who reads everything that I've written. Sometimes more than once. I make him read the same thing, over and over again, and he
Yeah,
loves
yeah.
that.
Oh man, that is fantastic. I think that is because I've had some authors on here who have a spouse that isn't either is indifferent to their writing or is not very supportive, and I think that is always so sad. So it's awesome. I think that you guys not only are so supportive of each other, but that he's in that world too, and it's a passion of his. Like that is just really cool, and I think that's awesome for you guys. So congrats on that. That is not always a common thing, which you would think it would be, but I think that's awesome.
Yeah,
We've got
he's great.
another. Oh, he says he should write more than he does. Shouldn't we all? That's how we all feel, my friend. Um, we've got another supporter of yours in here. Jay
Ah,
Squires is here. Let's go, Shay. That's right. Exciting times. All right. The flip side of that, my next question, I want to know. Now, this is fantasy sci-fi, so it's not like you're doing some nonfiction or historical thing for research. But I mean, with sci-fi and some elements, there's probably some things that you have to look up and research. So I always like to know. Nowadays, with Google, everything's at your fingertips. But some people still like to use books to research. People have people in their life who are experts on things they like to bounce things off of. So for you, how do you do a lot of your research? Is it pretty much all just on the computer, or do you still, look in books? Do you have people that you talk to or bounce things off of? How do you do your research?
For the most part, it's on Google, but there are a few very knowledgeable people in my life, like my dad, for example. He was an amateur astronomer for a good portion of his life. So when it came to figuring out certain aspects of the story that I can't talk about because it's very spoilery, but having to do with gravity and travel, things traveling through space for a long time. I ended up asking him for advice on, how would that work realistically, and things like that. There are also people in my network that I rely on. I know an astrophysicist, for example, so I asked her a bunch of questions about the reality of using a blue star as the home star for one of the planets in the book, and things like that. So
Oh
it's kind
yeah,
of a mix.
yeah, very good. Well, I mean, with Google, like you can find anything now, which is so nice. Instead of having to go bury yourself in books somewhere and try to find specific things, you can just search it up. So that's awesome. Very cool. Just in case you didn't recognize, J Square said they should swap to their other account, and
I know
it's
who that is.
Phelan. I figured you did because you seemed excited to see him, but just in case they typed that in there, I wanted to make sure. All right. Last process question that people always like to know. When you are writing, do you prefer silence in the background, like a quiet atmosphere? I mean, obviously, you go to a coffee shop, so you don't mind if it's not completely quiet, but or are you someone that listens to music? And if you do, does it need to be instrumental without lyrics?
That depends on my mood and what I'm trying to write. So sometimes I do need silence, and I think that comes more when I'm working on something that's very mentally taxing, like if it's a challenging part of the work that I'm trying to work on. But other times I will listen to instrumental music. I have a 20-hour Elder Scrolls
Oh,
playlist.
oh,
Yeah,
nice.
that's mostly instrumental. It's got
Oh,
some
yeah, that's a good one.
yeah. So I'll listen to that while I'm writing. I listen to a lot of Stellaris soundtrack while I'm
Oh,
writing.
nice. Yeah, that's a good one too.
Yeah, Mass Effect and stuff like that
Oh,
as
yeah.
well.
Yep. Yep.
And sometimes I also have multiple playlists for the different books that I'm writing.
Oh, wow,
And
that's cool.
they have a mix of instrumental and lyrical pieces on them. So if
Okay.
I need to get into the mood for a particular book, sometimes I'll throw that on and listen to that first, and then get going on that, and then I might switch it out later. So yeah, it really
Very cool.
depends. Yeah.
Okay. I love it. So Talon wanted to know if they're allowed. Yes, you are. You guys are a part of the show. Anybody has any questions for Shay, just let us know. All right. So go ahead and ask your question. No worries at all. I was just wait for kind of a break in what we're talking about, and then I'll pop your question up. So, and Luigi agrees the Stellaris music is nice. I agree too. Um, okay, so we are gonna switch gears again as soon as Talon has their question. I'll pop it up for you. But I have some questions for us to get to know you outside of writing to wrap up. But before we do that, I have a little riddle to see if you can solve. Uh, so I'll ask this question of you before we do that because this is
Okay.
kind of in the writing process. But with regards to action sequences, do you seek inspiration from films or games? And if so, what films or games do you tend to gravitate towards for that inspiration? That's a great question, Talon.
Wow. Action sequences. So I guess It depends on the action sequence because, like if I'm writing a space battle, then, I'm going to be
Oh
thinking
yeah.
about Battlestar Galactica or Star
Yep.
Wars or Star Trek to a lesser extent.
Yep.
If it's more like a fighting scene, like when two characters are busting each other up, then I'm going to be thinking about I'm going to be thinking about, some I can't think of any actual examples off the top of my head, but
Yeah, yeah. I know what you
you know,
mean though. Yeah. Yeah, it
yeah,
does depend, it does depend on the battle, right? If it's like hand to hand kind of gritty, it's a totally different movie or video game than it would be a space battle. That's so true. Yep.
yeah.
Very true. Let's see. Oh, and see, good answer. Taylor said Battlestar and Wars are a peak response. I agree. Let's see. Everett Cooley is here, waved
Hey,
in
cool eye.
support. So there you go. All right. Are you ready for the riddle? The chat can help you out if they think they know the answer, but we'll see if you can get it. So here we go. All right. What can you hold in your left hand but not in your right hand? What can you hold in your left hand but not in your right?
Your right elbow.
Oh my goodness. Round of applause. That is impressive. You didn't even hesitate. Very well done. I used to have these super like long cards. I have the 1 minute mysteries, but I went through them all so many times that I'm like, all right, I need to do something different. So I need to find something else, but for now, I'm just doing random riddles I look up on the internet. But yep, see, too smart. Man, it's too smart. Uh, and Ellen is also very impressed. That was very quick. I'm impressed. And yes, Talon, that is true. You also cannot hold your right hand in your right hand. That's true. That would be been an acceptable answer. All right, so um, and your husband said that. Oh, all the applause. Yeah, I know. You are very sharp, he says. There we go. All right. So my first question, we're gonna start with an easy one. What is your favorite color?
Teal.
Teal. Okay, nice, nice. That makes sense with the cover. So that is very cool. Um, it's a strong color in there. I also like teal. So has that always been the case? Is there a reason, or is it just a color you always like?
No, I've always been drawn to, blue green, and I've always really liked the different shades of it. I don't really know why. It's just that's my color. Maybe because I'm Aquarius. I have no idea.
Hey, that's good. That's all right. It's a good reason. Okay. Let's see. Next question. What is your favorite food? If you got to choose
Nachos.
what you're eating. Oh man, you didn't have to hesitate.
Nachos.
That's a good. I don't think anyone has ever said nachos. That's a great answer. I love nachos. So what kind? Like what? Just traditional kind of nachos, or what do you put on them?
We actually go to a restaurant here called Boston Pizza, and
Okay.
they have, in my opinion, they have some of the best nachos that I've ever had. So it's corn chips and cheese with, we get the barbecue chicken on it, and jalapenos,
Oh
and
yeah, that sounds good.
yeah, yeah, they're really good.
Oh wow, very cool. Okay, and that's awesome that you have a good place right by you. So that's awesome. Um, that's cool. Okay, next question. What we know that you're a great writer and you're good at all of this stuff, but what is a talent or a hobby you have that we don't know about?
Well, I'm big into yarn.
Oh, cool. Okay.
Yeah, so I dye yarn. I also crochet and I knit.
Oh wow, so you diet too? That's awesome.
Yep.
Very
I
nice.
haven't I
Okay.
haven't for a while, but
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, I crochet and I knit quite a bit. I actually just did a whole bunch of pumpkins for
Oh
fall
no
and
way.
Halloween.
That's so
Yeah.
fun. Oh, that is cool. Do you have one close by that you can show
I
us or
do,
no?
actually.
Yeah, let's see it.
Husband, can I have my pumpkin, please? He's fetching it for me.
Good man, good man. Oh, wow, look at that, guys. That is incredible. That you are very good at that. Wow. You need to like make your own alienoid dragon characters out of yarn
You
or
know,
something. That would be cool.
that's
You're really
called
good at that.
amigurumi, and
Okay.
I have actually wanted to try to crochet up a character that
Yeah, you
would be
should.
cute and little, about this big. It's I'm not very good at spontaneously, like I'd have to kind of get different patterns and sort of piece things together, I think. But
Yeah.
yeah, it's something that I would love to do. I think that would be really
Yeah, that
cool.
would be really cool. Um, everybody says that they're awesome. Keith says they're awesome and that he will take three of those. Though, so well done. That's impressive. Those look great. And Talon said that their sister made them a blanket out of yarn that they got from you. So there you go.
Yeah.
Very cool. That is awesome. I mean, that would be like if you whenever you do a con or something eventually to have those at the table with your books, that'd be pretty sweet. I mean, I'm sure that's a lot of work, but I'm sure it would look awesome though. Okay, that's cool. That's awesome. I'm impressed. Do you ever sell like things like the pumpkin like at craft shows or anything? Like that's pretty legit.
Not no, not the objects that I make. I haven't sold any. I usually just make them because they're cute and I like cute things.
Yeah.
But the yarn is for sale.
Okay, very
Yeah.
cool. That's awesome. Well, Ivan has some more puns here. I've got to shout him out here. He said you should learn to spin so you can spin yarns in two respects. I was spinning yarn as a story and literally spinning.
Spinning is something that I know I could get into, and I have tried very hard to resist, because then it would mean I'd have to get a wheel
Oh
and,
yeah, all the
get the
things.
fiber and all the rest of
Yep.
that, and we just don't have the space. I have yarn stashed literally all over the
Everywhere.
house.
Oh man, yeah, that's true. It probably takes a lot to get more and more into it for sure. Oh man. All right. So, we got DYI Florida is here, and they also said that's an awesome pumpkin. So, thanks for being here. All right, next question. To put on the thinking cap and go back here in time. What was your first job that you got a paycheck for?
Oh, I worked at Home Hardware
Oh, nice.
as a
Okay. What
cashier.
cashier?
Well,
Okay.
I mean, that's as an employee. I was also a
Yeah.
babysitter for the longest
Oh,
time, and I
yeah.
guess I
Okay.
got paid for that too.
Yeah, yeah.
But as an
Man.
actual employee relationship, yeah, I worked at Home Hardware when I was
Okay.
16 for a couple years.
Nice. So you were hustling as soon as you could with babysitting, making some moolah. That's good. What? How old were you when you started babysitting?
I don't know. That's a long time ago.
As soon as people would let you, right?
Yeah, more or less.
Oh, that's awesome. Very cool. Um, all right. So let's see. Uh, I got to shout out your husband here. I like the dad jokes. So he said, "Why do dads take an extra pair of socks to the golf?" I think he meant golf, not golf course. In case they get a hole in one. That is a classic dad joke. Well done, my friend. All right. Next question. Oh well, here we'll ask this since Ivan wanted to ask it. What's your favorite anime? He thinks he can guess.
Uh, that would probably have to be Sailor Moon.
Nice. That is a good one. That is a good one. Was that the right? Was that what you thought, Ivan? Let us know. All right. Next question. So we'll stick with kind of where his question went. What are some of your favorite movies and TV shows?
So Babylon 5 would be my most favorite TV show. I'm also into Star Trek in a big way.
Nice.
Favorite movie is Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country.
Okay. Nice. Nice. How come that one's your favorite?
Oh, I really love Klingons.
Okay. Who doesn't? Come on now.
Yeah, yeah. And that particular movie, I think, really showcased how they were more than just, for TOS anyway, that they were more than just the bad guy.
Oh
It
yeah.
really started to give them dimension, and was, a real jumping off point, I think. So, Yeah, I really love that particular movie.
Very cool. Okay, which Star Trek show is your favorite?
TNG.
Nice. Me too. That's it's so good. So good. Uh, Backwards Night is here as well. Thanks for being here, Backwards Night.
Hey, Buffalo Crew! Yay!
um, all right. So, what about video games? Were you ever into video games back in the day or currently?
Yeah. So my husband is a Twitch streamer, and we play games together on occasion. And I
Cool.
also enjoy role playing games myself. Mass Effect is probably my
Oh,
favorite.
such a good game.
Yeah. So there was Dragon Age. I really
Hmm.
like puzzle games as well. So,
Oh yeah.
Myst, Riven.
Oh, Mist. I loved Mist back in the
Yeah,
day.
the whole Myst series was
Yeah.
really good.
Hmm.
I recently started playing Power Wash Simulator. I really like that. I
Oh,
think
that
it's
game is addictive, isn't it? Oh, that's cool. Have you ever played the game? I forget what it's called, but it's like a moving game where that it shows like a house looking downwards with the roof off, and you have to walk in with these little dudes and like pack up a truck. That game's
no,
addictive too. But yeah, those kinds of games are fun. Okay, very cool. Do you still find time to play now with the writing and the books and everything going on?
not a whole lot. My husband will often say to me, "Oh, you should go play a game," and I'm just like, "Nah."
Yep, I get that. I
Mostly,
get that.
mostly just because I'm either working on the book or
Right.
I have a day job,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
come home and I work on the book, and then I'm kind of tired and I go to bed.
Oh yeah. 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 There's only so much time in the day and only so much energy that you have, right?
Yeah, but
All right. That's cool. Awesome. All right. And then bringing it back to books, do you still find time to read, even though you're so busy with everything?
I do actually. I just finished a couple of different beta reads for
Oh,
some author
nice.
friends, and I'm starting another one for another author friend.
Very cool.
Yeah, so, and in between that, I like to read. I was thinking about it the other day that even though I write mostly, science fantasy with a
Hmm.
harder lean towards science fiction, that I tend to read mostly fantasy.
Okay. Interesting. What are some of your favorite fantasy books and authors?
So Jenna Moresi, she wrote The Savior's Champion and The Savior's Sister, and she's going to be releasing The Savior's Army pretty
Oh,
soon.
cool. Okay.
Yeah, when I first read her books, I found the style and the voice to be very refreshing.
Oh, I
And
don't know if I've heard of her books. What's her name?
Jenna Moresi, so
All right.
Moreci.
Cool. I'm gonna look that up. That
Yeah,
yeah, that does sound familiar now that I wrote it. Okay. Cool.
yeah. So
Okay,
there's
so that's one of your faves. Okay.
yeah, and then there's speaking of Sailor Moon, there's Arabella Federico. She wrote
Oh wow.
a series of books that she's just recently completed. I forget what the name of the series is, but it's a Sailor Moon retelling, basically. But
Oh, that's
Tuxedo
pretty
Mask
cool.
is the bad guy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Interesting. All right.
yeah,
And
and it was
those are like novels, books, not manga or graphic novels. Okay.
no, no, they're
That's
they're
cool.
novels. Yeah, so they
Okay.
were pretty good, and I really liked. Oh crap, what's the name of it? Iron Widow.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's one I wanted to read. I haven't yet, but I heard that one's really good.
Yeah, Iron Widow is really good by
Oh,
Zirin
nice.
Day Zhao. I think I don't know
Hmm.
if I said
Yeah,
her
I
name right.
think I think that's how I see it too. So yeah, yeah, that's a good one. That's cool. So you really like that one?
Yeah,
Yeah, it looked really cool. I've heard good things about it. Um, maybe that's why Jenna's name sounds familiar. Ellen says Jenna's a big booktuber, so
yeah, she
that
is.
might be why I recognize that name. And then I'm like Talon here, leans forward. Fantasy authors I've not heard of, you say? Let me write these down. There you go. Okay, very cool. Well, we're coming up at an hour. This flew by. It's been so much fun chatting with you. Before we go into like all the ending stuff we talk about, I want to give you the floor to shout out anything that maybe we haven't talked about or brought up, or anything that you want to say or tell people about?
Oh dear.
I feel like we touched on everything, but
We
just in case.
did. Yeah, we
Just in
did.
case. Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow the book comes out, so
Tomorrow the
go
book
get it,
comes out.
people.
Yeah.
And then your Twitch stream will be at your time. Did you say 10?
Yeah. 10
10
o'clock
o'clock
Mountain.
Mountain Time. All right, very cool. So everybody get in there and support Cheyenne tomorrow. It's going to be exciting. I am going to go to her website and order my copy of this book. I cannot wait to have it. So make sure, again, in the description you'll find the link to the Twitch stream, but also in there is Cheyenne's website where you can find links to get the book anywhere you want to get it. There's also a link in there to get it at Amazon if that's where you like to get it. But it's all down there in the description down below, and it's happening tomorrow. It's gonna happen. So exciting. So thank you everybody in the live chat. You guys were awesome as always. Thank you for watching on the replay, and thank you, Cheyenne. I'm so excited for you, and I'm so excited that we got to chat. This show is called Beast Friends Forever for a reason, because we are Beast Friends Forever now. So anytime you have a book come out, anytime you need help with anything, shouting out anything, just let me know, and I would love to have you back on and talk to you again.
Great. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. This has been a blast. So thank you everybody in the chat, and go support Cheyenne. Tomorrow's a big day. So enjoy the rest of your day today, and I will see you all in the next one. And until I do, as I always say, devour your TBRs, be brave, be beautiful to one another, and be beastly. We'll see you everybody. Take care.